Hi guys, welcome back to Pamela's Tarot Tales, and I wanted to pop on and do a quick video for kind of what I've been up to in July. I've been hermiting a good bit. I blame all the retrogrades with all the planets, but I don't know if that's really the cause. Sometimes I think we just need to go within and allow our own process, our own time, our own space, and support ourselves through that. So I've been listening to myself and listening to what I need. I have been up to quite a bit actually through that time. It's been fairly productive. One is I have started a bullet journal. So this is kind of like a July review, what I've been up to, chat type deal. But I started a July and August, I guess. I started a bullet journal, and that's my gratitude page. I have to say I was really good about keeping up with it. I started it at the end of July, and I was doing trackers, and I was keeping it really simple, trackers and dailies. And with that, I was pulling cards, not every day, but I was pulling some affirmation cards, and I would write down that in here so I could see how that helped or played out, and just something to focus on. And I really like that process. I still do that. I still continue with that. But so I'm working on that. The August, my trackers did not go so well. Sad face. I just stopped keeping track, and I don't know why. And I really enjoyed tracking and seeing what I was doing, and it was things like exercise and my water intake and my spiritual practice and meditation, and because I find it really helpful to be able to review that and say, oh, even when I feel like I haven't done something, when I feel like someone asked me what I've been up to, and I have no idea. My brain just doesn't function that way. I don't remember. So, because it's already gone, I'm not holding on to that. But it is helpful to review and be like, oh yeah, I was way more productive than I thought, or I accomplished more than I thought. And I think that's a wonderful thing to be able to do. So I started off strong and had lists and things to do, and did my affirmation cards maybe two to three times a week, which I was really happy with. And then I just kind of fell off the face of the earth with it. So I have started it back up. I started back up on Thursday, and I'm happy about that. I have, quite a bit to do, but I'm really happy with this process. I'm enjoying using it. I have the Tombow markers in the pastel, so I'm keeping it very light in color. Trying to keep it simple and neutral, but yet artsy enough that I still feel engaged. I find that because I'm an artist, that I can get sucked into the art of it, and I enjoy that, but then I don't end up using it, or I feel like, oh, that takes too much time, and I don't want to invest in that at this moment. And I'm trying to break that cycle so that things can be done quicker, and things can be done where it's still pretty and it's still pleasing, but it's not an art project. And I feel really good about that, and I feel like I've accomplished that so far. So I'm happy with that. I've also been up to quite a bit of deck modifications, and the first one you guys saw my deck mods video, but I borrowed a guillotine trimmer from a friend of mine, and it was amazing. And I have to say, and it was a cheap one. It wasn't even like a really nice one, but I have to say that it does make it a lot easier. It's not as intense with sitting with the cards, looking through them, cutting them by hand, which I really enjoy that process, but you still get quite a bit of that with the guillotine trimmer, which is amazing. And they come out, because I used a masking tape as a guard, they came out pretty much perfect, which is awesome, which doesn't happen with scissors. So the first one, I had printed David's tarot sometime last year, and I printed it. This was before I really paid attention and knew it. I know maybe it was 2 years ago. I printed it 2 years ago. Yeah, it was 2 years ago. So that was before I really knew what I was doing. And I don't know, I tried printing it on matte paper, and it didn't seem to print right in my printer. So I ended up printing it on photo paper, but the photo paper is too thin. And so I ended up getting some cardstock to back it, to apply it to the photo paper. And I'm really happy overall with how it turned out. Now, I would do it differently if I was to do it again, but this is iridescent cardstock on the back. This tarot deck is a free printable download from the web, and I thought, well, how cool is that? And that was before I had any collection of cards, and so I had printed it at a time where I only had 2 decks, and I didn't have any money to buy a new one, but I had enough to buy paper 1 month and cardstock a couple months later. And anyway, it took me forever to figure out how to get back to it. So I did spray adhesive, glued the 2 sides together, and I used the guillotine trimmer to cut it. So I finally finished this project. I did find that they kind of stuck together. So I put cornstarch on them, and that was fantastic. It works great. So if you ever have a super shiny deck or a sticky deck, cornstarch works amazing. So, and I'm just getting to know this deck, so I can't really speak to it one way or another, but other than I liked it, at least the imagery. So, and the backs have 4 different colors they're iridescent. This deck, because I did the double with the photo paper and the cardstock, it's really chunky, really thick, which I'm fine with. So that's the first one that I modified. The next one, maybe not the next one, maybe it was, I don't know. But shortly after that, this is all within a span of 2 weeks that I modified decks. The next one, I picked up the medicine cards, this Oracle deck. It is by Jamie Sams and David Carson. I picked this up literally for $5 at a bookstore, a brick and mortar bookstore. It's called Books A Million in Tallahassee. And so a lot of people rave about this deck, and I thought, well, for $5, it's well worth the the try it. Let's see what happens. I know that I'm going to cut it because I really did not like it. They were huge. The cards were huge. They have text on the top. They had these horrible borders. I thought they were horrible. Maybe people like them. So I ended up cutting off the text from the top and the border all around. And I haven't seen anybody trim it this way, but it looks so much better. The size is way more usable. It was entirely too big, and the borders just seemed distracting to me. So I haven't written on this just yet because I've been engaged in other projects. But I'm sure everybody's kind of seen this deck. It's been around for ages, and a lot of people who use it swear by it. So I thought, hey, you know what? $5. I'm an animal lover. I love animal medicine. And I hear the book is fantastic. So I'm excited to look at it. The only other thing that I'm going to do, so I'm thinking about writing something here, maybe in gold. I haven't decided yet, which is why this is kind of been sitting on the shelf. The other thing I want to do is I don't like these backs. I know people do, and that's awesome, but I find them not pleasurable. um, and I think part of it's the color, part of it's the lightning bolt. I don't know, but apparently there is a French version, I believe, that has a different color and without the lightning bolt. And actually, all of these colors are a bit different in the French version. Celeste and Christine, I think, has a video on that comparison, which is amazing. So if you're interested in it, check it out. And then I will probably round these corners, but I wanted to wait until I rebacked this. And I've never rebacked a deck particularly, so I thought, well, I will leave it and then I can always round it out. So the other thing I did with that is I have saved all of the text, one, so I can figure out if I'm going to label them, but also to use them as like a little mini, you know, maybe just a travel deck, or maybe just throw them in a bowl, and if I'm feeling stuck or something, just pull it and see what I get from that. I haven't really decided yet, but I thought, hey, how cool is that, just to make another little oracle deck out of it and see what happens. So there's that. That's been on the agenda. The book that it came with is a hardback book that is supposed to be really, really good. I haven't, like I said, I haven't been reading through it because I've been in an active kind of a doing phase, project phase versus a reading phase. And I know myself, I know that I tend to do that. So I'm excited to look through it and see what it's all about. And oops, apparently I just dropped the receipt. So that's another that I've been up to. The other deck that I trimmed was the Star Tarot, and this is going to be a gift for a friend that I know that she would really enjoy this deck. I've read for her a couple of times with my version, which is actually a full trim, that I just did a video for that is a comparison of the full trim and how I decided to trim it. So check that out. It's a full walkthrough, so I'm not going to really go through this. But I did trim it where I left the bottoms on, and because of the way that this deck is created, it's really kind of awkward, and I hadn't seen anybody trim this particular way. I've seen people leave the tops on and the bottoms. I've seen people alternate with the top and the bottom because the minors only have the suits written out and the numbers are on top. And with the majors, they have the numbers on top as well, but it says what it is, so you don't really need the number. But I decided to put the numbers on there, and I decided to put the numbers on these so you know what they are, because they're not always recognizable in this particular deck. But check out my video. I talk about that in way more depth and what I did to achieve that. But this deck, and I edged it in a matte silver. Not really matte, but it's kind of matte. So the other thing that I've been up to is I have been crocheting tarot deck bags, and I have done a couple of those, and I'm working on a couple different styles. So this is the first one that will this is for the David Tarot. This was the first one I did, and it has a spread cloth so that you can lay it out. It holds 3 cards, so this is meant to be taken kind of on the go. And the little pouch there. This one is not lined, but it's there. And then I put this little extra just to kind of match the black and a little surprise. So that I'm really pretty happy with. So that was take number 1 on, and I just made up my own pattern. The second one is this one. Same style, but I wanted to line it This one is for my Darkness of Light. This one actually holds 4 cards. It's a 4-card spread cloth that's built in. And I did not have felt to line it with, and a friend of mine had some material that she uses to make purses, and I don't know what that material is called, but it's a white stiff kind of material and some fabric, and so I covered that and then I sewed that in and I crocheted the rest. So it's a little bit stiffer and it'll protect the cards a little bit better. But the other one will protect it just fine, I think. But that's for the Darkness of Light, which I think matches really, really beautifully. It's got, this has some, those colors, those greens. It also has pinks, and it has, of course, you can never find what you need browns. And it's subtle, but the color is there, and it's really beautiful. So there's that. And then I wanted to, I don't want every deck bag to have this spread cloth, because I don't think it's really necessary. I just wanted a few that, you know. So, anyway, the other one that I'm working on is not quite done, is for the gift for my friend. It will be kind of like this, which is Sacred Heart Tarot, Maria from Sacred Heart Tarot. This is her bag and her design, and they're fabulous. Go buy them, they're amazing. But I wanted to make my own, and I wanted to use my own colors and my own yarn, and I know how to do it, and I have time, and so I'm in the process of making that. But I made mine a little bit different, so it has a little bit, it has a structured, more of a structured bottom on the bottom, and it is lined. I don't know if you can even see that. Again, it's in process. Felt lined, which is way easier to work with than the other crap I was working with. And then I will put the drawstring. I still have to do the top, the crochet at the top, and do the drawstring. So that's still to be done. And then I made this charm, you know, put that together and sewed that on, and it says made with love, and it's got a little purple stone. So I'm really happy with that, considering it's my first one I've made of this style. I think it's pretty great for a gift, which I'm excited about. The other thing I've been doing is I've been starting to play with deck combinations, and seeing how things pair together, seeing how they read, seeing how playful I can get with that, and how they look visually, but also how they read together. And one of the decks that I love, love, love reading with other decks is the Mesquite Tarot. And it's been really pretty fabulous with it. Oops. It pairs nicely with quite a bit of decks. Sorry, the light is just not great in here, but I wanted to get this done anyway because it's been a long day and I wanted to film a video, so why not? But this deck is fabulous with the Darkness of Light. It has paired really, actually surprisingly nicely with Jonasa Joust Tarot. I think I've paired it with some other stuff, but I really love it with the Darkness of Light, which is the square deck that reads in all 4 directions. It's a black and white deck. Yeah, and it just reads so well together. It's visually stunning, but it reads nicely paired, which I find fabulous. I'm really happy that I've been playing with that, seeing how things go together, seeing what layers of information I can pull. So that's another thing that I've been working on. What else? Now, there was something else I was going to tell you guys about. What was it? Let me pause it. Yes. Okay. So I also, years ago, because my training's in ceramics, I have my master's in ceramics, and quite a few years ago, I made these little trinket things, and I had put metal in there to make a loop, to make either pendulums or necklaces, whatever I felt like making. So I'd made them and had fired them, and life circumstances changed and I wasn't able to fire them, but I finally got them out again and I fired them, and I'm pretty stoked about them. I think they're really cool. They're chocolate brown clay, they're cone 6 oxidation, and that's all I have of them. That's all I made. That's, you know. So I am in the process of thinking about how I want to make those into jewelry or pendulums, and actually one of them is already kind of spoken for, which is awesome. So I'm working on that. I have been getting back into making some jewelry a little bit. This is one of the pieces that I made. I have several more, but this is the one that's at hand. And this little doodah here has a ball, a lava bead in it, and you put essential oils on it so it smells amazing, and it can help with so many things. So I've been working with that. These will end up going on in the shop. Oh, and I have been working to put up an Etsy shop. It's slow going, but it's steady-ish, and I'm excited to get that going. So check it out. I'll put the link below. My shop name is Lion Dharma Healing, and I will be offering tarot readings, I will be offering some jewelry, and I will be offering animal communication sessions, because I'm also an animal communicator, and I will also be offering energy healing work, intuitive energy healing work. So lots of new things on the horizon, and I've really been working with overcoming some fears and working to see what happens. I've got the Facebook page up and started, so that's under Pamela's Tarot Tales, TELLS. That's on Facebook. Check it out. So there's lots of new things exciting there, and yeah, so I'm ready to do it. Let's go for it. I'm excited. I've been doing a few client readings and hoping to bring in more of that business because it's so much fun, and I love helping people on their path and their journey and coming to their own realizations, and it's just very, very rewarding, and I'm hoping to share more of that with the world. So check it out. If you're interested in a reading, you can message me privately, or you can go to my Etsy shop. If there's not a reading listed in the Etsy shop that you want, not a problem. Message me and we can build one. So again, this is Pamela with Pamela's Tarot Tales. Thanks for tuning in and catching up with my July, which is actually good for me to do because now I feel like I've actually been productive and not just hermiting. So I hope you have a great day, night, morning, whatever it is for you.